In this video, we're gonna add, so when we select the enemy, we can see the health bars, and when we attack it, it will update, and when we deselect, it will remove. Let's work on the target frame. So we want to be able to click the enemy, and this frame will pop up. If you don't know how to make this frame, because I kind of didn't show it, I think, just leave a comment and we will make a video about it. But let's jump right into it. So we will go into the player and find the. I think we use it in the combat player script. So let's open that. It's going here, and let's see. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I think this would be a fine place to do it. I actually think at some point, yeah, we actually made a reference to where we want to do it. So want to, when we do this function, we want to be able to show that. So let's give some reference up. So this will be target frame enemy for now. At a later point, we will make it more diversible for NPCs and stuff. But for now, it's mainly gonna work on enemies. So private game object target frame, and then we're gonna need a new function. Let's just close some of these down. I don't want to close that one down. Close, close, close. Go. So let's make a public void, and let's call it show target frame, and we will take in the enemy target, which we have actually called target. So at a later point we will make a new function. So actually maybe a show, this is only enemy target frame, like that. So show enemy target frame. So we will say target frame set active, oh, sorry, target frame set active true. So when we call this, we will put the gain object true, and up here we will actually call it. So show target frame, set in target, like that. So now when we do this one, we will also call the show enemy target function, and let's just go in here on the player and take the combat player and take. So we actually forgot to put on the serializable field. That's why we cannot find it. So let's go back, let it compile, and we can see here we have the target game object. Go to the UI, the HUD area, find the enemy player health or whatever you call it, and just make it not possible to see. So now we can see it. And let's go back. And then we start the game. We cannot see it. We select the enemy and it will pop forth. So that was like the first part. Now it's showing. Now we need to work on that part. We need to do a lot with the enemy health. So we kind of need to do a bit like we already did. So let's go into our scripts. And if we look at the health player, we did a lot of this, what should happen when we take damage and stuff like that. And we kind of need to do almost identical the same with the enemy. So let's go into the health script here on the enemy, and let's look at what we might want to have there. So the only difference is that like the image will be on the player instead of the enemy. So let's make this one into current um, health points, that, and move the number, and then let's add a public float current fill, and then we will take a public float max health points, like that. So if you look at the health player, we kind of have the same current health and the max health and stuff like that. So as I said, it will be very similar, and you can already see because we renamed it, this one is correct. And then we can look at the health and say, okay, we said that current fill was equal to current health dot slash max health. So let's just take that line, put it in, and then rename these to the proper names. So max health points, like that. And let's see, so we have now the current fill set, the max health is set. Then we need to, in the start function, also say that current health is equal to max health, like that. And I think from there we can actually start to work on the UI, because now we are calculating all the variables. So let's go into the combat player here, and let's work on the target frame instead. And we're gonna need some new objects to control on the target frame. So we want to control serialized field private image. As you can see, is we cannot get the name image, so we need to go up to the top saying using Unity engine.ui, and we will call it target health image, like that. And we also gonna make a public, or just not public, actually just serialized field private text mesh, and we want to get the text mesh pro, so we're gonna say using TM Pro as well. And now we can write text mesh pro, that, and we call it HP target text use nil. And then in here we want to write a bit of coding so that it actually will update. So we need a reference to the health. So let's say health and call it my target. Set that equal to player. I actually think we made this line. We can just like take this part, put in there. So player control, that's selected enemy, get component health. And then we can say, well, the target health image dot fill amount is equal to my target dot current fill, and health target text dot text is equal to my target dot current health points plus sign plus my target max health points, like that. So this one is changing the fill on the image, and this one is changing the text to be equal to what the player's health is at the current state. What you will see is that if we uh, go into this enemy and look at the health, his current's not filled out, so let's give him 10 and 10, and the other enemy will give 20 and, oh, sorry, 20 and 20, like this. I just need to be sure that. So we go into the game and we click on one of them and it doesn't update here, but you see that this part is updated, but it's because we have not applied the text yet. So on the player, here you find two empty. You have the target health image and the text. So health frame background, and we got it here. Let's just actually rename that to health image and put the health image there and take the text in there, and let's click again. And now when we click, it's a 10 out of 10, but you see that it's not like red here. And if you click here, it's 20 out of 20. So that part works. And if we go hit it, nothing really happens with the health. And why is that? As you can see, if I click here and then click back, it kind of updates. So why doesn't it work? We will kind of solve that now. So let's go into our code. So this one only happens when we are selecting the enemy, it will update. So we wanted to call this part some other place as well. So let's right click and quick action and click extract method and call this method update target health UI, that. And let's take that function and call it also, we can call it here if target is not equal to null, we can actually call it here before the target is dead. Now when we click it, we still have that this part is brown, but when we hit it now, we can see that it's actually updating and going down until the target is dead. So how do we fix this part where it goes brown? So to get the fill bar working, you need to go into the enemy, and actually the only reason it doesn't work at me is because I kind of clicked wrong. So I set it equal to 0, so if you just set it equal to 1, it should work when you play the game. And you go to the enemy, you can see the bar is there, and you can hit it and it will update. So what we need now is like when we deselect that this one will close. So let's just make that function really fast. So lastly we will add so we can deselect the show enemy frame menu, and we're just gonna do a simple right now. Public void unshow enemy target frame, and we will say target frame dot set active false, that. And we will go into the player controller and find the deselect enemy, and we can take this line like get component combat player that we used earlier, and we can put it in here and say instead unshow enemy target frame. So when we deselect, the select enemy will become null. And you can also say, if you rather want it like that, you can go into the combat player and write something like if the selected target is equal to null, then this one is equal to false. But I think I will add it for like this for now. So let's host it, and you click and you deselect and it removes. So now we have these health bars that synchronize with this.